What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to fail Amazon FBA. So make sure you guys do this. If you guys want a non-profitable business that doesn't grow, make sure you guys follow these exact steps. And if you guys do want to start or scale your business, make sure you guys are avoiding doing these things over here. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Econ Faraj. I've profited multi-six figures reselling name brand items on Amazon, and I've also taught hundreds of people how to start and scale their Amazon business. Number one reason why most people fall is that they don't give Amazon FBA they don't give it enough time, right? So the number one thing is get shiny object syndrome. You guys are probably asking, what is shiny object syndrome, right? Shiny object syndrome is where you go to the next thing, right? There's always going to be trends in business. There's always going to be, ideas that come up that are working right now, but in the next 2-3 months, they're not going to work. So let's just say, for getting shiny object syndrome is like TikTok shop coming up. People stopping Amazon to do TikTok shop. People stopping Amazon to do like automations. People like drop shipping. All these business models are going to come and go. You want something sustainable. All these business models work, but if you don't give a business model enough time, you're not going to see success. So if you're constantly bouncing around business model for every 6 months or every year, you're not going to be successful in anything. You're going to be hopping around other business models, wondering, and then you're going to be hopping around other people's business models, and you're going to get over that. You're going to be on that learning curve. You're going to be learning exactly how to do it. And then you're going to look at someone else that found success in kind of another region, and you're going to be like, oh man, this guy's doing a good business model. I'm not. Let me switch over business model. And then that cycle is just going to keep going and going and going, right? Sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side, right? Especially if you guys are watching all these other people on the internet, right? These guys are showing you the highlights. Imagine watching a highlight of like a G League basketball player. You would think he's the best player in the world, right? But that is not the whole story. So number one is just understanding that the grass is not greener on the other side, and getting shiny object syndrome is one of the worst things you can do, right? You don't have no right to call a business model bad or good unless you put 6 months to a year of just focused work, consistent, showing up every single day. Then you could say, okay, maybe this business model, I've been putting in inputs in for 6 months to a year just consistently. Let me pivot off to another business model where I could maybe find success. But that's after a year of hard and focused work, right? Innovating. The next thing I will talk about is just focusing on revenue, focusing on the orange bars. A lot of these people, they don't know how to account for their Amazon business. They don't know how to do accounting. They're just chasing revenue and orange bars, and they're not even profitable, right? They're getting after. They don't know how to actually track their profits and losses, right? So they're not tracking in for returns. They're not tracking in for tax at the end of the year. They're not doing any of that. All they're focused on is the orange bars that come on the screen of the revenue, but you're probably operating your Amazon business at a break even if you don't know your numbers, especially if you're taking down listings and you're not being patient on the listings that you're selling on. You're probably not selling those items at a good enough margin, right? So number one thing is just focus on profit, not revenue, because that's actually what you're bringing home and what you're feeding your family with, right? So don't get shiny object syndrome. Don't try to get those big screenshots to post on Instagram and all of that, right? Really make sure you're focusing on how much money you're getting in every single month. Profit, not revenue. Everyone can show you revenue, 100K revenue month, 10, 20, 30, 50K month revenue. It's very easy. We don't care about none of that. We want to care about how much cash you're bringing in every single day to provide for your family or to take home and save, right? Profit, not revenue. Always prioritize profit. Next thing I'd probably say is just all these other people are just staying complacent, right? They hit that 10, 20, 30K month and they always stay complacent. They never really try to go higher, right? They never really try to learn more skills. So a good example of this is like people that love reverse sourcing, right? They obviously love reverse sourcing, but they're getting on these listings that other people are on, right? Instead of learning how to keep a product finder, instead of learning how to loop websites, instead of learning how to do wholesale and go up, they stay complacent, right? They get kind of comfortable area. That's where the growth is going to die, right? You never want to be complacent. You always want to be trying to get to that next level. You always want to be trying to get better. You always want to be adding stuff to your business. You never want to be flatline. So always investing into new knowledge. There's always something that you don't know, and one piece of information can change the trajectory of your whole business. So this is number one, the highest ROI thing that's trying a new skill. Maybe that's trying to like a reprice or a new software, or maybe that just that knows something that you don't, and that could add so much value into your life. The next one I want to talk about is one of the highest leverage things literally ever is just networking, right? You guys won't understand how much thousands of dollars I made just by having random casual conversations with people on Discord, getting the VCs late night, them telling me about discounted gift cards, and is one of the most important things ever. Like I just remember me and one of my guys were getting on this ASIN, right? We literally we spent thousands of dollars on inventory. We sent the shipments in, and we were literally just, me and him, we were same price. We were sharing the buy box, and we were just ripping thousands of dollars. It just makes it more enjoyable. Having a great network of people makes Amazon so enjoyable, because, you know, once you're starting Amazon FBA, what you're going to realize is that there's like people around you. They're not going to know. They're not going to care what you're doing, right? So you're going to be alone, and the worst thing you could do is do it alone. So make sure you document your journey, right? But if you want to fail Amazon FBA, you should avoid networking, right? You should try to gatekeep it. Don't tell anybody, right? Be alias. That's what I thought. That's what I thought I was doing. And as soon as I got out of my shell, I started posting my journey. You know, I started networking with other people. I just made more money. I don't know. It was like I don't know. And when I started networking with, you know, people that were doing better than me, I just started making more money. I don't know. It's crazy what happened, but next thing is never adapt, right? You guys got to understand the Amazon FBA game is always changing. It's always changing. And if you guys don't adapt, you guys will be left behind. The same methods that were used a year and a half ago aren't alive. You always have to be adapting to the Amazon's new rules. And if you can't, you're going to be left behind. If Amazon adds a new fee, find a way to increase your margin. If you can't, you're going to be left behind. What I want to talk about is never delegating, right? You at some point, right? You don't want to be going 2, 3, 4, 5 years into the business and you're doing the same thing. You're packaging up boxes, you're sourcing products. That's not the end goal. You don't want to have a job in your business. You want to be managing your business, right? So number one, the 2 easiest ways to delegate is get a prep center and get a virtual assistant. Prep center is a third-party logistics where they package up your items for you and you don't have to touch, you know, product at all. And a virtual assistant is someone from the Philippines who sources, does everything for you, right? So you have higher tasks, so you have more bandwidth to, you know, reach out to distributors, spend more time networking, doing all those other things that are going to push your business to the next level. But if you're packaging up boxes for like 8 to 10 hours a day, sourcing all night, you know, you're not going to really grow. You want to delegate the low leverage tasks. That's how you see all these people, you know, that are higher into the game. They're not touching boxes anymore. They're not spending hours reverse sourcing, right? So, but understanding that you're going to have to go through the phases, those year and a half, 2 years. But another thing is some people try to delegate too fast, right? They try to skip the grind, skip the hustle. So you don't want to delegate too fast, and you never want to delegate too late, right? A good metric that I would say is you want to be, before you get your virtual assistant, you want to be making at least 4 to 5K profit, and before you delegate anything, you want to be making at least 4 to 5K profit. So you have a good concept, you have proof of concept, you know that your stuff is actually working, and you have to be good. Like, to get a virtual assistant, you have to be good at sourcing yourself. If you're not good at sourcing, you're not gonna survive. If you're not good at sourcing, how do you expect to teach someone else how to source? It just doesn't make sense. So invest into your skill set. Avoid all these things. Do the opposite of these things. And that's pretty much it for the video. If you guys want to work with me to see how we could scale your business, you know, one-on-one, I have a link down in the bio. Book a call with us. If you guys want to join my free Amazon FBA community, I'm gonna drop that down in the bio, and I'll see you guys in the next video.